This is Trepacer, and welcome to my review of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 14, after a long hiatus, it's called Tahiti, of course. In this episode, of course, the team, because if you remember episode 13, Sky got shot, so they attempt in this episode to help Sky recover, okay, and of course they rush Sky to a doctor. And the doctor does everything she can, and she tells him, listen, you better prepare, we did everything we can, but, prepare her family. And then, of course, Agent Coulson goes, we're our family, which is kind of an eye-rolling moment, of course. And, of course, then the next step, of course, is Coulson thinks, okay, I'm going to take her to the facility where they, worked on me and saved me. Okay, and, of course, they, S.H.I.E.L.D. contacts them and they want Quinn turned over. Okay, but of course, Coulson's not going to do that until they find out, until they find a cure for Sky. And so, of course, in the meantime, May, everybody's all sad and mopey, and May, of course, decides to take out her aggression on Quinn by, introducing her fist to his face several times. Okay, and then of course Coulson stops her, and then of course S.H.I.E.L.D. sends special agents to some planes to stop Coulson from, and get him to turn over Quinn to the fridge. They're supposed to take him to the fridge. So Ward's former special training officer, John Garrett, played by Bill Paxton, shows up, of course, to get Quinn, but they managed to convince him and he convinces them that the heads of S.H.I.E.L.D. to let him interrogate Quinn on the plane, of course, which he does. Okay, then of course the clairvoyant, Quinn basically tells him, listen, the clairvoyant knows everything, sees everything except how Coulson died and came back to life, and basically Quinn tells him was the whole plan for Quinn to to shoot Sky, and of course Coulson will do everything as possible, to save her, even including trying to find the cure that saved him. Okay, so that's what the clairvoyant wants. Okay, and then of course they can't find the facility. They try to look, and they have no record. They even try to get the doctor who basically told Coulson earlier that we should have let him die. He's gone off the grid, so they can't really find him either. Okay, but Fitz decides, he comes up with a way of, I think he says one of his friends gave him access to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s travel plan, so they basically look up and find out where Nick Fury went, his travel itinerary, and they track it to some facility. I forgot what they call the facility. It's not supposed to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility out in the middle of the desert somewhere, or out in the mountains somewhere, in a big mountain facility. Okay, and they discover that there's this drug called GH. Okay, that supposedly was used on Coulson to regenerate. So they decide that they're going to go into this facility, go down there, and in the meantime, Garrett has brought another agent with him, who was supposed to to help him. And of course, he actually, in the middle of this crisis, he's basically flirting with Simmons. Okay, but anyway, back to Coulson, Garrett, and Ward, and Fitz go down to the facility. Of course, they basically break in, of course, and the people that, they ask them for a password, and they don't have the password, and Coulson basically tells them, listen, I've got a password. We come here for some medical help, and we really need, of course, they don't listen, so they basically blow their way in, and of course, they have a shootout, and they kill, of course, 2 agents who were just doing their jobs, of course, and they killed all in the desperation to get Sky the cure, of course, and then, of course, they search about, and they actually find it. Okay, and Fitz goes back to the plane. In the meantime, Coulson, you see him, they notice that the facility is rigged to blow, and once they break in, it's rigged to blow in I think in 9 minutes. So basically, when they're looking for, they find the cure, of course, and they send Fitz back to, to give it to Sky, and then Ward, basically, Ward and his CO, Garrett, they basically rig the front to blow up enough so they can get out. Okay, and he sends Ward on, and Garrett goes looking for Coulson, who basically, gets distracted and starts wandering. Okay, and then of course at the last minute Garrett finds him and grabs Coulson and says, "Let's get out of here." And Coulson's basically saying, "Don't give her the drug. Don't give her the drug." And it's too late, of course. By the time they get back, you know, Simmons has given Sky the drug, and it looks like she flatlines, but then her heart returns to normal, and of course she's stable now. Of course, so after that's all over, Agent May goes to question Coulson and asks him why did he want them not to give her the drug, and he basically lies to her and says that he didn't want her to experience what he went through, all the doubts and all that stuff about whether he was how he died. So he kind of blows her off, but then they really show you what he did see, and he basically where they found the GH, the miracle drug GH, they find he finds these tubes that lead into a big vault, and it leads into a big chamber. It looks like they have an alien in there who's basically, I guess, it looks like they got him in the chamber with fluid, and it looks like his blood or something is the drug that basically helped Coulson regenerate, and that's what it is. But Coulson, of course, keeps this to himself. He doesn't tell the team and doesn't tell anybody, but you can tell he's haunted by it. And then, of course, then it goes off, and then it comes back, and then you have a little preamble thing where you see a beautiful dark-haired lady walking through the desert, and she's tired. You see she's tired, and then they flash back to she's walking towards a hotel, and then you see this married couple. They just got married, written on their car, and she goes in to see a map. Let me go to the hotel room and ask the manager if he has a map. And she goes in, and he's waiting outside, and basically the beautiful woman comes up to the guy and says, and grabs his water and says he's parched, and she's mentioned about this place being Midgard being a desert, and he said no, there's other places. and he said and he's asking her, and he basically tells her that he's married, and he has eyes for his wife, and then she touches him, and of course he's instantly enthralled, and then you see next thing you know he's taken off in the car with her, and his wife comes out, calling after him, but he's long gone, and then you find out he asked the guy, he said, "I'm in love with you, I'll protect you, but I haven't even know your name." And she said, "I'm Lorelei," of course, Asgardian and Lorelei. So this is, of course, why they bring in Sif, I think, on the next week's episodes, because she's probably come down to capture Lorelei and bring her back. Okay, so this episode was okay, aside from the eye-rolling parts about even unconscious. It's kind of all about Sky, which is kind of a bummer. But Bill Paxton makes everything kind of good. And also, I forgot to mention that Garrett, him and the agent that was with him, they grab Quinn, and they're gonna take him back, I guess, to the fridge. And Garrett mentions, he said, as he says goodbye to Coulson, he said, "You'll probably be seeing me sooner than later because my agent has the hots for Simmons," which like I said, in the middle of a crisis, he was flirting with her. Okay, so this episode, because Bill Paxton makes everything better. This guy mentions a little over the top, but I'm gonna give this episode a 7. Okay, I'll give it a 7. Agent May beating up Quinn, and it was kind of a joke to a point sometimes. But you see Quinn all beat up, in the facility, and he's still being snarky. Okay, but overall, like I said, you find a little bit more about, and I wonder how they explain. Actually, I can't explain now because they blew up the facility. With the alien in it, they blew it up. Basically, well, it got blown up because I guess they triggered the thing when they broke in, and they set the self-destruct thing. So the facility is gone, so they still don't know who's in charge of it, really. All they know is that that's where Coulson has operation, and S.H.I.E.L.D., even though it's not a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, that's where they did the operation on Coulson, but they don't know how they got the alien or nothing, or anything else. So I guess that's a mystery to solve. Like I said, next week, Sif is going to be on the show, of course, to come down there to catch Lorelei. Okay, so we'll see how that goes, and it looks like, of course, Agent War gets enthralled by Lorelei, which is totally predictable. Anyway, that's my review of Marvel's Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. Let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. And this is trepacer saying so long and take care.